Good morning, everyone. We're here today to honor and raise our flag for National Indigenous History Month, where we can bring awareness of the Indigenous history to all people. So we're going to start out today. I will bring a smudge around, and Troy will share some words with everyone.
And then I don't know, I'm going to sing a song right after. We're going to raise a flag. Then? Right? Jeff? Okay, so. Way, I'm saying, no, come on. In Deloise, got me back to some Dodom Gawa, Jalnu and Deloise, after Uncle, when I'm back in the wiki with me. So, Minno Grzeb, good day, everybody. Very nice to have everybody out to do a flag raising, and also very sad, also with the latest news on the news. And unfortunately, for each residential school, we're going to get the same, very similar, unfortunately, very similar results, I believe, because this is something that's been known for many of us. So, I'd like to talk a little bit about, we talk about in our teachings about creation and our relationship with Creator in all the creation. And that first medicine, when we give these tobacco ties or we give tobacco to one another, and that's that first medicine the Creator gave to us, because all relationships are reciprocal. So we always want to give something back. So we don't just receive all the time. We want to also give, because that makes us feel good. And so we have that relationship with Creator, with the sun, with the moon, with Mother Earth, with the plants, with the animals, and all creation, all creatures, and between one another. And that's us also in Carea is giving back to the community. We don't just receive, we don't just get a paycheck, we don't just get acknowledgement, but we also want to give something back. We want to give good care to our community. And so these are those things. But also in this time as well, with the reciprocal relationship in Canada, is for everybody, as we see that there's been a lot of obviously it's not a good history between the Indigenous peoples in Canada and the Canadian government. So please keep those families in your prayers, and also spread that. Whenever you get some knowledge, is to spread that and share that with other people. So everybody, there's a politician on TV last night. He says there's a two-time history major, and he never learned about residential school while he was in college. That's 2 times in university that's 8 years, and you never learned about it. So please let us, do better. Do better by one another, and to realize that everybody's a human being. Indigenous people are human. Black people are human. Brown people are human. So we're all humans. We're all here on earth, and this is what we're going to do. The opening song, the honor song, talks about us. Let us come here under the Creator's eyes and do what he or she sent us. Actually, there is no genderizing Creator. Creator's Creator. Creator's a he, Creator's a she at the same time. And to realize that we have to come here and do better and work together as people. All nations. The white, yellow, red, and brown or black nations of this earth have to all, we're all here together in the same circle. So I'll try to preach, but just acknowledge that we have to do better. So I'll start off with the honor song. Give me the
Miigwech Tk'emlúps for the gift of a new day. Miigwech Tk'emlúps for all that you provide to sustain life. Miigwech Tk'emlúps for our ancestors and the resiliency of our people. Miigwech Tk'emlúps for our families, our friends, our community, and our nations. Miigwech Tk'emlúps for those who blazed the trail before us so that we can continue to remember, relearn, and reclaim our Indigenous ways of knowing, being, seeing, and doing. Tk'emlúps, I ask that you guide and support our missing, those spirits of our missing and murdered men, women, and children. Support those spirits, guide them to where they need to be in that safe space. Tk'emlúps, I ask you to guide and support those families of our missing and murdered men, women, and children. Guide them, help them to be able to move forward in a good way. Tk'emlúps, I ask you to guide and support our families, our friends, our community, our nations, all those who are struggling with mental health and addictions. Guide them, support them, lift up our youth, help them to know that they have meaning, purpose, and value. Tk'emlúps, I ask you to help us to know what it is we need to know, see what it is we need to see, say what it is we need to say, hear what it is we need to hear, and feel what it is we need to feel, and do what it is that we need to do. Miigwech, 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 miigwech. I want to welcome everybody here today, and I do acknowledge the territory that we're on of the Mississaugas of Scugog Island First Nation and those Indigenous communities that fall within the Williams Treaty, which are the Mississaugas of Alderville, Hiawatha, Curve Lake, the Chippewas of Rama, Beausoleil, and Georgina Island. And we have to remember all of our Indigenous communities who came through this area, our Métis. It was a major route for sharing and trading, so this community has been a part of many Indigenous nations. We didn't recognize a border. Our people would come across the water and do trade. So I want to acknowledge that territory that we're on today, and I'm honored to both live and work in this territory. But we come together today to raise this flag to acknowledge National Indigenous History Month, where everyone can begin to understand and learn the history of the Indigenous people, what we have given up, what we have had taken away, and the resiliency of our people. We have heard some of the horrors, and I know that many of you, this is just the beginning of your understanding, and there's so much more that you can do to understand, and it comes down to educate. So when we think about the Indigenous people, our First Nation, our Inuit, our Métis, all of them lived here, right? We need to honor all of our history. It is the only way that true reconciliation can happen, to where we can move forward in a good way and live as a nation, right? We talk about those nation to nation, which means all our First Nations, we represent our own nations, we are all our own nation. And when we talk about Canada, that's a nation, so we do those nation-to-nation talks, we build that nation-to-nation relationship. So it's important that we can build those relationships so that we can continue to be a strong, healthy nation. But also remember all of the good that our Indigenous people have done, look at the success of our people that continue to thrive and will continue to thrive. So I say miigwech, and I welcome Laura up to say some words.
My name is Laura Boyko, and I'm the chair of the board of directors for Carea. I'm so very honored to be here today, to be invited to partake in this ceremony with all of you. National Indigenous History Month is a time for us to learn, to appreciate, to acknowledge all of the contributions of First Nations, Inuit, and Métis people that have made in shaping Canada. And it's wonderful to have a designated month for us to be aware, to learn, to acknowledge, to recognize. But we also need to be doing this work all year round. Every month of the year is National Indigenous Awareness Month, to be aware of the contributions of the people that came before all of us and how they've shaped Canada. So I just want to say thank you for having me here today. I take great pride in helping to lead the wonderful programs that we have here at Carea, and thank you to all of you. Miigwech.
In acknowledging those 215 Indigenous children that are returning to their homes, their families, their communities. We're going to lower our Indigenous flag to half-mast, and Troy will be singing an honor song.
teachings about picking up our brothers or sisters that have fallen. So those people who are hurting at this time, to help pick them up in our community. And even just this 1-year anniversary of George Floyd, to remember that people, whether they're black or they're Indigenous or they're Asian or whatever race or creed or whatever, however they identify, is that we have to pick each other up and treat each other as fellow humans, not as different classes, but we're all in the same basket of human beings. You know, this pigeonholing sometimes is dangerous, right? We realize that we're all human, because that's why people were treating other people badly, because you don't treat them as the same. So realize that we're all the same. So, Chimigwech.
So to speak to those 215 children that are going to be reunited to their families and their communities, this has been something that has sat very heavy with me and our families and our communities and our nations over these last few days. Because this wasn't a secret. This is something that our communities, our families have known. This is something that has been shared in independent assessment process testimony with Canada and those run institutions, those organizations who were responsible for them. But those records are sealed, and nobody believes what is being said. It is not until there is a discovery that people begin to open their eyes and acknowledge and begin to understand the horrors that the Indigenous people lived through. I didn't prepare anything to say because I've been taught to speak from that spirit. And you can never remember your speech anyway. But we're here to support our family, our friends, and our community, our nations. Carea provides many Indigenous programs for families and community. And I want our community to know that we are here for you. We support you. If you're having troubles, connect with us. There's a helpline as well. I'm sorry I don't have the number off by heart, but there is a helpline that's available that you can call if you need that support. But I stand here because I come from a family. Who knows that residential school experience? My grandmother, who was taken from her family and sent away, and at her school they did forced sterilization. And I'm lucky that my grandmother was able to avoid that, or I wouldn't be here. My grandfather, who attended day school, which was no different. They just got to go home at night to their family. I hold this eagle feather to help me have the courage to say the words I need to say. And all those words are carried to creation. Over the few days I've heard people from the non-Indigenous community ask, how can I help? What can I do? I tell you, educate. Educate yourself in our history. Acknowledge what is happening. And advocate. Advocate. Understand that we as Indigenous people, our voices aren't heard. We need allies to help us advocate so that change can happen. So I say miigwech, and I offer this feather to Francis to come share some words.
most of you know me. For a few of you who haven't met me, my name is Francis. I'm the CEO for Carea. But more importantly, today I'm coming here to stand as a member of the family for Carea and also a member of the family for everyone who is here to express my heartfelt and deep hurt, just like all of you. And I want to appreciate the time to be given by everyone here to come and be able to express how I feel. And Angela, thanks for the words that speaking from the heart makes the most important sense. That's how we find peace in ourselves before we give it to others. So I understand this whole week, every one of you like me, you were reading what's on the news, and 215 of those lives are lives that we all can resonate with. And Troy made a very good statement to say, it doesn't matter who you are, where you come from. Think of a human being as a human being. And for me, most importantly, as a father, as a parent, I cannot think about how I would feel today. Actually, if you ask me, how does it feel like? I don't think anybody could have words for that. As a parent, that's the first place I got. But as a community member as well, I start to feel exactly even worse, to say, what is the world that we are living in? What does that look like? And what do we need for each other? And I want to thank you for this opportunity to come here and speak. And I know, as Carea Angela talks about, all the programs we give, but more about what we do to each other and how we are going to be able to carry this forward together as we cope, and remembering everybody and giving each other support, I think is the biggest thing that we can do for each other, and supporting each other through this. It's hard, it's difficult, but the next few days and few months, I think, Angela, you said it right. Seek your education, find out how you can learn about the culture, Troy said the same, and how we can continue to be here for each other and support each other. And I don't have any words more than what was expressed here. Say, my heart goes to everyone who has been impacted, and all of us here as we hold each other and support each other. And I thank you for inviting me to this. We'll hand it back to you. Language.
Yeah, I'll give you a chance. Hey, we're going to exit. Thank you for those beautiful words to our CEO. I'm going to give a quick story. And that's what we should communicate a lot of times, the stories, because we can really learn from each other. The first day I came here to work full time, I had been coming here already for about a year or so. I was doing big drum, but I was up with HR with Frida, who was up there with me, and then Frida, we were talking, and then Francis came in. I didn't know who he was actually, but I had a suit on. He said, "Oh, you're dressed very nice for work today." I said, "Yeah, of course. If I'm going to work with a great organization, I've got to look great." And I'm being honest. Like, Carea does the most work in Durham region for the Indigenous community, and that's something we can be proud of. For the trans LGBTQ community, for counseling, for healthcare, Carea is one of those leaders, right? And especially the Indigenous community in Durham region. And so the second day, I saw Francis in the lunchroom when he actually, I don't know if you remember, we sat down, we were talking, having lunch, and he talked about back where he comes from, and those older people taking medicines and keeping those stories for the future generation of Indigenous people in Africa. And I remember that, and I really treasured that talk. And the similarities that we all carry from no matter where we come from is beautiful. So I'm really proud to be part of the Carea team because of the great work we're doing. So like I said, I wasn't trying to preach everybody because we're all doing, like, working as hard as we can and doing a fantastic job, and it's amazing to have such great leadership as well. To the CEO, to the directors, to the managers, and all the team, we're amazing, and thank you for the support for the Indigenous team, right? The community. Thank you for all that you do. So, And also for all our partners that we have as well. I know OPG is a big supporter as well as many other partners, so please forgive me, I'm not going to mention you, but thank you for your support as well for the Indigenous community. So we're going to end with a traveling song. If you want to leave while we're playing, that's